When you know that you are queer, but your favorite drink is beer, that's gayish. You can bottom without stopping, but you can't stand going shopping, that's gayish. Oh, gayish, you're probably gayish. Well, life's just too short for narrow stereotypes, so it's gayish. We're also gayish. It's Gayish with Mike and Kyle.
Hello, everyone in the podcast universe. This is Gayish,
the podcast that's like an onion. No one really asked for it, but if you get it, you're not mad.
Some people hate onions too, which I think is pertinent to this analogy.
Oh, sure. Let's bring them in. Except asterisk. Except if you're one of the onion haters, in which case, get out.
And don't cut me or I'll make you cry. I'm Mike Johnson.
I'm Kyle Getz.
We're here to bridge the gap between sexuality and actuality. And today we're gonna have friend of the pod.
Friend of the podcast. That's true. He's been on a couple times. Andrew Gurza on to talk about ableism.
Yeah. The feel-good topic.
We always bring you uplifting, important, heavy-hitting, happy, warm topics.
Yeah, exactly right. But yeah, it should be fun. Andrew wrote a book. So did we, by the way. You should buy our book. It's great. Same publisher. And yeah, we're going to talk to him about ableism and stuff.
Yeah.
But first, hey, Kyle,
hey, Mike.
I'm in India right now.
Yeah, you are.
And first, India is the hardest country to get into of all of the countries that I've been to, and I've been to a shitload of countries.
What makes it so hard?
It took they were doing just like this whole process at immigration, and it's 5 minutes a person. They need to see your visa, and they have to check on it, and they have to stamp your passport, and they have to see your vaccinations, and they have to take your fingerprints, and they have they interview you. Like, it's just, oh my God, why are you making it so hard? Nobody wants to go here.
It's mean to an entire country.
Well, okay, I'm about to be meaner. The other thing that's fucked up about India is that they're a half an hour off. Like, time zones already suck, but they're a half an hour off. So we're recording this at 10:30 in the morning your time.
Mm-hmm.
It's 11 p.m. here. Like, it's 12 hours and a half.
Yeah, that's weird. That's a weird thing they did.
It's almost like they did it intentionally. They're like a big middle finger to the rest of the world.
Suck it, U.S. time zones.
Yeah. Suck it, white people. But so far, having a lovely time. The hotel here is crazy. So lots of elephants.
What makes it crazy? Lots of elephants?
There's elephant decor everywhere because this is Bangalore. And but also they're like too helpful. Like, they're very, very helpful all the time with everything. Like, all I did was try to walk from the elevator to the bar, and a person stopped me to ask me if I needed help. Like, there's like flowers, fresh flowers everywhere, and they're always trying to give them to you. I don't know. It's wild.
That sounds lovely.
I mean, it's lovely unless you just want a nap.
Yeah, like, don't talk to me. That's how I'm usually. Like, don't talk to me. Don't bug me.
Yeah.
I don't want any of your anything.
Yeah. And yeah. How's it going for you?
I'm here in Seattle, just like usual, and it's been hot, and that's about it.
Great. Well, I hope your little air conditioner is keeping up okay.
It's not keeping up very well at all.
Okay. Well, enough chit chat. I just wanted to make sure that we didn't launch directly into the news like usual.
Yeah, and we achieved that goal.
Great. Excellent. Here's the news.
Shut your mouth hole. It's time for your ear holes. News.
Okay, Kyle.
Yeah.
News the first.
Yeah.
So there is a groundbreaking study that was published in the Journal of American Medicine. I think that's what JAMA stands for. In JAMA. Anyway, by the University of Vermont. And they asked 489 trans, non-binary, and intersex adults about whether they believed that they were in danger of losing access to gender-affirming medical care under the current political climate.
Oh, yes. The answer is, I can tell you the answer. The answer is yes.
To rephrase, are you afraid dickbag fuckface asshole is going to take away your gender-affirming care?
Yeah.
Now, 489 people 100% said yes.
I knew it.
Like,
I got it right.
even sometimes, like every once in a while, you like get an I'm unsure at least,
Yeah.
right? Like,
Yeah. Like, is Santa Claus real, or like is the temperature of the Earth raising? Like anything, you'll get some people that are like, I don't think so.
Yeah, this was unanimous.
Wow.
Which I don't know. It for sure says something. Like maybe they are correct.
Yeah. Yeah.
There's some, like, that's not surprising, and it's very sad. I'm really sorry that's the climate right now. But there are also some really bad things that came out of that survey. 21% of participants reported that they would likely struggle with self-harm if their access to care were cut off. Nearly a third said that they would turn to black market hormones or attempt to synthesize their own if care were banned, which I didn't know you could make hormones like on the stove like Betty Crocker.
I didn't know you could cook your own hormones like meth, like Walter White, like for hormones. They need to do a Breaking Bad, but it's gender affirming care that you have to do at home instead of meth.
Sure. Why not?
I love this.
What could go wrong?
What could go wrong?
The research was conducted between the 2024 election and Inauguration Day, when a lot of the...
before like they realized that it was true.
Before a lot of his bullshittery was actually implemented.
Bullshittery is a great word, by the way.
Yeah. I think you use it.
I don't think I use that.
Well, you should. It's a great word.
I should. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. So sorry, trans people. I know that nobody's going to listen to this data, and that's even worse. Yeah. I just got back from Canada, Kyle. Mm-hmm. Not got back from. I went to India from Canada, and Canadians are real mad at us. Like, not us, like individually, but like the country of the United States of America. They're like,
I would be too. I get it.
Like, this 51st state shit is not a joke to them. Go figure. Okay, anyway, that's that one. News the second.
Yeah.
Lambda Legal has announced that the federal government is restoring more than $6.2 million in grant funding to 9 LGBTQ plus and HIV service organizations following a successful court challenge.
Oh. Under what grounds did they challenge it?
Yeah, so U.S. District Judge John S. Tiger granted a preliminary injunction in June blocking enforcement of 3 Trump executive orders that threatened to defund organizations involved in DEI programs or anything the administration labeled gender ideology, which they've been slapping that term out there all over the place like it prima facie means it's bad, or is even true. Beneficiary organizations include major service providers like the San Francisco AIDS Foundation, Los Angeles LGBT Center, and New York City LGBT Community Center, ensuring continued critical health and support services for the LGBTQ plus community. So the primary thing here, and I think that I've talked about it before, is first, some of them are unconstitutional. Some of these executive orders are being ruled as unconstitutional, and they're also being on freedom of speech grounds. These 3 funding provisions, the judge said, quote, "These 3 funding provisions reflect an effort to censor constitutionally protected speech and services promoting DEI and recognizing the existence of trans individuals, and that it's weaponizing congressionally appropriated funds to single out protected communities." It's this whole animus thing. Like, you can't just do stuff because you don't like people. That will get you in trouble in the court pretty regularly.
But okay, I don't know if I even agree with like it's freedom of speech. The government isn't legally required to give out money as a protection for free speech. That doesn't make any sense to me.
Right, but the executive orders, the programs themselves are having a chilling effect on trans people's First Amendment right to say that they exist and for the government to study them. And I think that there's a legal line there that is being crossed. It's like if you say trans people aren't real and they don't exist, and then a trans person says I'm a trans person, and you say no, you're not. We're the government. That's like it's a free speech issue.
I just don't think the government should be required to give money to certain nonprofits because of free speech. That doesn't make any sense to me. I'm arguing against these organizations, which is I think that it's discrimination based on protected classes. That part makes sense to me.
Yeah, well, and Congress earmarked this money, right? And so the government is trying to take away money that Congress appropriated. I don't know, man. If we have to hang it on the First Amendment, let's do it. I don't give a fuck.
I mean, yeah, use whatever tools we got, and we'll take a win if we can get it on whatever grounds.
Okay, news the last.
Yeah.
The European Court of Human Rights has ruled that the Czech Republic violates the rights of trans people by requiring forced sterilization as a legal requirement for gender recognition. Basically, in the Czech Republic, you can change your legal gender, but you are required to be sterilized as part of that transition. And the court said, yeah, nah, dog. That's,
no. That's fucked up.
The case was brought by TH, a non-binary person who had spent over a decade seeking legal gender recognition without being forced to undergo surgery. And the court found that this requirement breached Article 8 of the European Convention on Human Rights, which is the right to private life. The ruling establishes an important European precedent against forced medical procedures for gender recognition and comes as the Czech Republic faces implementation deadlines following previous constitutional court rulings striking down similar requirements. Congrats, Czech trans people.
Yeah, this is a real fucked up thing that you are hopefully sidestepping. That's wild.
Yeah,
that they required that to begin with.
Yeah. Yeah, and like a restoration of bodily autonomy seems like maybe a low bar for a happy story, but I tried to include a happy story. Like
good things, some good things happen, some good court rulings, some useful data. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know either. But I mean, sometimes finding good stuff means I need to talk about not the United States, I guess.
That does make sense to me, actually.
That's the news.
Speaking of good things, I want to thank our new Patreon member. Thank you to Brian Doe or Dohe. I'm not sure.
Dohe?
Yeah.
Dohe?
Dohe. If you want ad-free episodes a day early, if you want to support the show, if you want to use Mike's hole,
use my hole,
then go to patreon.com/gayish podcast.
Do it.
Do you want to talk about ableism?
I mean, we got to. We're here.
We're got to. That's the topic. So
we have a guest right around the corner.
We do. Yeah.
You said before we sort of tee up Andrew and everything, you said you had something you want to talk about, though?
Yeah, I have some Gata actually on this.
Gata. Nice.
Yeah. So what I want to talk about for disabilities is that HRC analyzed the Human Rights Campaign, analyzed data from the 2020 Behavioral Risk Factor Surveillance System, which is a nationally representative survey done by the CDC.
Okay.
And they, what HRC found when they analyzed the, what?
RIP CDC.
Oh yeah. Long live the CDC. They found that LGBTQ people and trans people in particular were more likely than non-LGBTQ people to report having at least one disability. So we are more impacted by disability, ableism, all these things that we're going to talk about than non-LGBT people.
I mean, I know that there's like higher incidence of things like depression and anxiety and autism in the LGBTQ community. Are these physical disabilities that you're talking about, or do you know?
I'm going to tell you, Mike. Thanks. Great. For you kind of spoiled the data.
Oh shit. Sorry. Fuck.
It's okay. Unhear that.
Okay.
Let me tell you numbers.
Forget I said anything. Okay.
No, I have numbers to support it. So you're pretty much right. But overall, 24% of non-LGBTQ people have a disability, and for LGBTQ people, it is 36%. For trans people in particular, it is 52%.
Whoa.
So that's more than double that of non-LGBTQ people.
I had no idea. That's wild.
Yeah. So the most common type is cognitive disabilities. That includes things like autism, Alzheimer's, depression, things like that. 9% of non-LGBTQ people have a cognitive disability. And for LGBTQ people, it is 25%. Which, I mean, just depression alone, I think we're so much more likely to have depression that I don't know. It didn't break down cognitive disability into more specific kind of areas than that, but depression alone's got to account for a big part of that, I would assume.
Yeah, for sure.
Non-LGBTQ people was 9%, LGBTQ people was 25%, trans people was 35%. So again, much more likely to have cognitive disabilities. For things like hearing disabilities, mobility, self-care, and vision, these are all the categories. LGBTQ people were almost the same. They were in the same ballpark as non-LGBTQ people. So it really was cognitive disabilities that LGBTQ people stood out. But for trans people, they are more likely to have all of those: hearing disabilities, mobility disabilities, self-care, and vision disabilities.
Wow. Okay. That's interesting.
Yeah, it's interesting that trans people stand out at any kind of way you slice disabilities. Trans people really jump out as having a distinct ability to have disabilities. I don't know. That was a weird way to phrase that. They are distinctly disabled or more likely to be disabled than non-LGBTQ people.
It's interesting. I wonder if it has anything to do with like medical care, like if trans people see their doctor more often and so they catch these things.
Oh, you think it's like more about not that they are actually more disabled, but that they are at a doctor more and more likely to identify and label a disability and be aware of their disability?
They might still be more disabled as a category. It's just a question of whether some of that difference is other factors than just that.
Yeah. Well,
Maybe.
I mean, the flip side to that is you might be more discriminated against at places like doctor's offices. So you may be less likely to go to the doctor if you want to either avoid that, or you can't find a gender affirming doctor or what have you. Like it may actually decrease your ability to get the right care and the right diagnosis.
Yeah, that's totally true. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know why that is. We'll have to dig into this a little bit more.
Well, thanks for that data, Kyle.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Okay. So Andrew Gurza is going to be on, and he, among other things, is now a published author of Notes from a Queer Cripple. I'm sure he's going to talk all about his book. We've got a bunch of questions to ask about that. He also has the podcast Disability After Dark, which is the show that we've done quite a few collabs with. And he's also Canadian, which I'm going to see if I can trigger him.
I mean, pretty easy based on just being American. It sounds like
he also always hits on one or both of us. So this is going to be a great adventure.
I hope it's me.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
I'll tell him that you're feeling left out.
No, I just want to be uniquely excluded for being so attractive.
Great. Okay. Well.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, we're going to take a break, and when we come back, we will have Andrew Gurza with us. Should we take a break?
Yeah, let's take a break.
Break.
This is the part where Mike and Kyle take a break.
So are we back?
We're back.
We're back.
We are here with Andrew Gurza. Welcome back to the show, Andrew.
Hello. Thank you for having me. It's been a couple of years. Thank you for having me back, guys.
Yeah, it's been a minute. So in case you don't know, Andrew is a disability awareness consultant, and he's author of the book Notes from a Queer Cripple. So happy to have you back on the show. We're going to talk about ableism.
Fun.
which
It's a
I
fun
know.
and light topic that that isn't dark at all. Yeah.
Yeah, it doesn't have any emotional baggage.
Not even a little bit, right? Yeah, exactly.
I want to start out by asking, I'm sure we've talked about this before, but just to get especially new folks who may be hearing you for the first time, refresher, you use the word cripple to describe yourself,
Yeah.
which is not a word I would use to describe anyone like without them saying it's okay. So talk to me about your use of the word cripple.
Guess what? It's okay. For
Yeah.
me, it's language that I've reclaimed. It has a dark history. So I have a tattoo on my chest that says Queer Cripple, and I did that deliberately because both of those words have a dark history, but both of those words in their respective communities have been reclaimed. And in the LGBTQ community, we use queer a lot to denote everything a little bit left of center now, and cripple has a really dark history for the way that it talked about disabled people, but I love it because it's my way of saying I know what you might already be thinking about me, and I'm gonna beat you to the punch, and I'm not afraid to put that out there. And also for a sexual partner, when they're with me intimately and they see that on my chest, they then have to reconcile with the fact that they're with somebody who is very disabled and is owning that. So for me, there's a 1-2 punch to why I use that language. And when I use the words queer cripple in the work that I do, and I give talks all over the world, also hire me, I'm here. When I give talks all over the world to universities and people, and when I do that, I use that language in the work that I do, and it makes people go, oh, what did he just say? Oh, I should pay attention now because he said something inflammatory. And I do that purposefully to ensure people are paying attention. So when I bring up stuff like ableism, they're forced to focus on what I'm saying.
I imagine you get some pushback. Like, I'm sure not everyone can be happy with that language.
Yeah, and I mean, there are a lot of folks with disabilities who don't like that and who lived through a period of time in their lives where that was not appropriate. And so I respect their feelings about it. And of course, I would never use that to, like, if I see my disabled friend on the street, I'm not going to be like, hey, cripple, what's up? Like, that's not how I would start a conversation. I highly recommend you don't do the same thing. But I think for those of us in community who understand the importance of that, like, if you look at a lot of disability activism, crip or cripping so-and-so or cripping the patriarchy or cripping the binary, there's a lot of discussion of crip as a sociological term and a kind of cool term of like, let's talk about this. So that's how I see it. It's a fun way to play with stuff, but I wouldn't put it on anybody else.
You've done tons and tons and tons of work around like the intersection of being queer and being disabled. And how did you decide that this is what you wanted to do with, your voice?
I needed money. No, but that's sort of true. I finished my schooling in 2013. I went to school for legal studies, in May of 2013, and I didn't have a job. And I went to every single disability, like, employment agency and said I want to do disability consulting. They told me it was a joke. They were like, "That's not a real job. That's a hobby. Find a real job. Like, we can get you at a call center or flipping burgers." And I was like, fuck you, I don't want to do that. I want to talk about disability. And then I realized that nobody at the time was talking about sexuality and disability the way that I wanted to talk about it. And so I just decided to try and see if that was something people would respond to. And so there were calls for, like, HuffPo was looking for writers. So I put my name up for that, and I wrote for free for them for a bunch of years. And all these magazines were looking for writers, and I wrote a bunch of free shit just around disability. And one of the first articles that I wrote was like, why disabled sex is the best sex you'll ever have, for like Queer Voices HuffPo, to make the point that like disabled people are sexual beings. And so I did a whole bunch of stuff like that was very provocative and very risque, I guess you could say. I talked about why we needed disabled porn stars. I talked about all these things because I knew that this community was not being given the spotlight, and I certainly wasn't getting laid the way that I wanted to. So I was like, maybe if I talk about this openly, it'll change. And so that's kind of why I started using my voice to give myself a position, but also I wanted guys to notice me. I wanted to get laid. I wanted to do all the things my peers were doing. And I was like, I guess if I talk about it, maybe I can shine some light on that.
Yeah. It's been a couple of years since you've been on the show, but speaking of disabled porn stars, what have you been up to?
Well, I can't remember the last time I came on your show. I think was it just after or before? I don't remember.
I don't think it was out yet, but you were saying that it was coming, I think.
Yeah, we did it in 2019. It was released for our mutual friend Davey Wavy's studio, Himeros.tv. And it was a great experience. He reached out to me and said, I'm looking to do some adult amateur porn with people that I know and care about. And I know you've wanted to do stuff like this in the past. Would you want to film a porn in your house? And I was like, great. So I contacted my sex worker and said, I trust you. I'll make sure you get paid. Would you come in and basically do what we always do when we have a session, but do it on camera? And he very lovingly agreed to.
What was that experience like, being in front, like you said, doing the same thing we always do, but it was in front of a camera and everyone could see it?
I'm not shy. People see me naked every day for the kind of care that I require with my disability. Strangers see me naked constantly, so that it really didn't faze me at all. And I'm kind of a fame whore, so I like attention. And so it was nice because we did it in my bedroom. We filmed it in my house. It was really nice to do something that would show people who were afraid to consider disabled people as sexual beings. It's a 22-minute porn, but I also see it as a how-to educational video on how to fuck a disabled person. And that's literally what happened in the film. And I think there's something really special about them seeing him make out with me in my wheelchair, then get me out of my wheelchair, then help me get undressed. All that stuff are things that people are really afraid to ask. And now there's a 22-minute video that people can watch where that's literally happening. And that to me was really cool.
That is really cool. Does that suck to have the burden of explaining how to have sex with you, fall on your shoulders?
No, I think it can be really hot. I think, we always talk about how sometimes when you talk about sex, the anticipation and description can be hotter than what you're actually doing. And I think that's really true. And I think describing that to somebody and showing them this is how I can get you off also and bring you pleasure can be really, really exciting too. And I don't think it can be a burden and can be really annoying, but typically I work with sex workers, so I take pride in knowing that I can teach them something, so that if they have another client that has a disability like mine, they know what to do, they have experience. And giving them the opportunity to realize that queer disabled men are just as viable as any other population that deserves the spotlight, especially in our community that is so whitewashed and so ableist and so full of he has to look a certain way, he has to be a certain way, he has to act a certain way. And when I roll up in my wheelchair and say, hey, I want to get my dick sucked too, it makes people think, oh yeah, maybe they aren't as different as I thought they were.
Yeah.
Also, since you were on the show, you're on Queer as Folk.
I was a production consultant on the now defunct, I'm so sad. The now defunct for one season of the reboot. I was a production consultant. They reached out to me and said, would you read all of our scripts and make sure they're accurate to disability experience? And then one day they called me out of the blue from the writer's room in New Orleans and said, we want to do a scene that's about the sex party that I threw in 2015. They were like, we want to replicate that first scene. Would you come down to New Orleans and film? And I was like, would I? Sure, no problem. All right, great. So they asked me to come and do a sex scene and do I got to say some silly line in the show, do you know where the straws are? Or some crap like that. I don't know. I don't remember. But it was really cool to be asked to replicate something that I had done in real life. In 2015 in Toronto, I hosted it was dubbed the world's first disabled orgy. I did not call it that. That's what the media picked up on. So I hosted a sex party for and by disabled folks called Deliciously Disabled. And then so they saw that I did that for Queer as Folk, and they were like, can we turn that into a scene? And I was like, of course. So it was really cool to be asked to be a part of that, and also to make sure that like the original Queer as Folk had no disability representation whatsoever. It barely had people of color in it. So to know that this new version was trying to do something new and edgy around disability while also showing that disabled people fuck was really, really cool. And I'm honored that I got to be a part of that.
Did they get anything wrong that you had to like correct them on or fix in the script?
I just kept making sure that like he wouldn't say it like this language wouldn't be this way, like you know, and I tried to remember like I am not the writer, I'm just consulting, but I tried to give them as much as I could, knowing that Queer as Folk is a fantasy and it's kind of silly and it's done to be a bit of a soap. So like I'm not, and I haven't watched the full thing. I don't like to watch stuff that I work on because it's weird. So I hope it was done as deftly as possible, but my scenes were, you know, I got to have my ass eaten out by a dude on screen, which is nice, which was way more technical and way less sexy than you might think. It was a lot of, Andrew, look like you're coming now. Andrew, look like you're so turned on. And it was really weird because I am not one to do, I don't take acting direction really well. I just start laughing was what I learned. And so they were like, well, this is like, you have to be way more serious. So it was a lot of like, don't laugh, it's not funny. So I'm sure like if you zoomed in on my face during that scene, I must look like I'm in pain or something because I'm trying really hard not to laugh. But I mean, I'm really, really proud that the producer at the end of that shoot day, which was about 10 hours, 12 hours of shoot day, if not longer, came up to me and said, you know, because of this scene, you've created like cinematic history, because when have we ever seen a disabled sex party on television? Probably never. And so like to know that even though the show is done and no one's going to pick it up again, to know that like I helped create that is really, really cool.
So we're talking about ableism. Did you get any backlash or negative comments about your sex party?
Oh yeah, I had disabled people tell me that I was going to burn in hell. I had artistic people tell me that how dare I, because we had to do it in a really famous theater space in Toronto called Buddies in Bad Times, which is like it's been around for like 46 years. And it's a really famous theater space here. And it was one of the only accessible spaces that would consider our request. And so we had Howard Stern emailing us saying, could I come make a mockery of the event? Could I make a joke of it? Could I film it? We had the BBC wanting to do the same thing. I had people telling me that I was going to like die. How dare I do this? So yeah, we did receive some backlash. And this was, you know, now 10 years ago. And it's a shame that we're still having the same conversations around sex and disability today. Like it hasn't changed much.
It's interesting you talked about backlash from within the community. I expected like non-disabled people to be the ones to be like, I don't know, say negative comments or make jokes or what have you.
I mean, we had some radio people who called us up to do press, and they were like, well, how do you fuck in wheelchairs? Do you bring your joysticks together? Like, how do you? And we were just like, guys, first of all, you're not funny. Secondly, like, it's not a joke. Like, why does the idea of disabled people having sex need to be fodder for you? Like, what? I don't understand why it's. So I remember like being on the air with them and cutting the call short because I was like, we're not joking around here. This is literally, we're trying to promote something that is important for disabled people to have access to, and they just wanted to send it up and make it a joke. So like, I think humor around sex and disability is important. It's fun to play with that. I play with that all the time in the work that I do. Like, I'll call myself a big dick cripple. I'll call myself a baronet. Like, all that stuff is fun to play with. But the reality is that disabled people's sexual rights and sexual needs are often overlooked, often discounted entirely, especially in our ableist, like body-focused queer male bubble that we live in. I mean, it's a shame that I'm attracted to men because they're kind of horrible, but like, you know, the community is so hell-bent on looking a certain way and being super muscular and being super masculine, and disability flies in the face of all of that. And so when you're promoting that somebody who you've been taught all your life doesn't deserve a sexuality, when you're promoting saying that actually they do and it's their right, like sexual pleasure is their human right, it freaks people out. They get really upset about it because it flies in the face of everything they've been taught.
Well, and there's like a huge difference between like joking with you and making you the butt of the joke.
Oh,
And,
yeah,
like,
yeah.
That seems like the difference there, right?
Yeah, like I have no problem making myself the butt of the joke or playing, or playing up the fact that I'm disabled. Like half my scruff conversations are like, "Hey, want to touch my big joystick?" Because I have one. I have no problem playing that role, and I think when I have sex with certain partners, we play around with the fact that I can't move, and like that's different than not understanding what you're talking about and making a joke at someone's expense. And I think disability and sexuality can be hilarious, but it has to be done with respect, and I don't think it is right now.
You talked about how rough it is, the fact that we like men because men can be horrible.
It's such a fucking shame.
I was going to ask if you think gay men are more ableist than the general public.
Oh, fucking yeah, yes.
Yeah? What makes you say
question.
that?
They're just the worst. They're the worst because all they think about is who they're going to fuck. And if I can't do XYZ, I'm not viable anymore. And like, it's just a shame. Like I've had guys message me on Scruff and say stuff like, I had a guy recently a few weeks ago. We were chatting. It was like 2 a.m. He wanted to come over. I was like, great. I'm in bed, but sure, cool, come over. And so we're talking and everything's fine. And then I guess he looked over my profile again and realized I was disabled. And he like paused and he was like, "Oh, I didn't realize you were one of those people." And I was like, "Okay, all right." And then he goes, "Well, I hope you understand that like I need someone who's active and like viable, and you're not that." And I was like, "Oh, okay, all right, like see you later, dude. All right." But little did he know, I screenshotted that and put it all over the internet because like, how dare you? And also like I think they feel like because they've been oppressed, therefore anything they say is all right because they also have their oppression as like a safety net. And I feel like you see that when they talk about anybody who's a little bit overweight, anybody who's not the skin color they quote unquote prefer, gross racism. Like you see the ableism and the misogyny and the racism come out real quick when somebody's not attracted to you or doesn't want to fuck you. All of a sudden it's like they go to the lowest common denominator, and ableism and racism and misogyny and transphobia tend to be their go-tos. And I mean, I think gay men have a huge selfish problem. They're really selfish. And I understand why they would have needed to be like 50 years ago because everyone was, killing us when we were all dying of HIV and AIDS and we all had to be supporting each other. But I think the selfishness really is closing our minds to a lot of great experiences that we could have if we just weren't such dicks to each other. Like, why do we have to be so mean to each other? Why?
Yeah.
Well, so in the book, you tell this story from a long time ago, like 20 years ago or whatever, about somebody who said that you were a pity fuck, and you talk about how that has impacted you and the feelings that you have. Like, how do you get through that? How do you like? That has to resonate in your brain all the time. How do you like push through that? And I want to know more about like how it is that you can not tolerate. I don't even know what the word is. Like it just seems so awful. Some of the things that people have said or done, and like how do you keep going?
Well, after that, I didn't. I cried for weeks after that happened, and I remember thinking, like, well, if this is sex with gay men, I don't want any part of this.
Yeah.
Like, if this is what being queer is, I'll just be celibate the rest of my life. Like, fuck, I won't have sex again, sure. But, of course, when you're young like that and your hormones take over again, you want to try again. And so, like, I just push through, and I even after that experience, even now, 20 years later, I still deal with ableism from people constantly, which is why I've pretty much exclusively resorted to working with a sex worker because, I've had bad sex workers and I've had great sex workers, but I've had typically with workers, I can get to know them a little bit before we have a session. I can design the experience the way that I need it to go, and I don't have to worry about, oh, surprise, they're going to be an asshole. Like, and I love giving a sex worker a chance to learn about my body and learn about disability, so that, like I was saying earlier, if they have another client, they can take that and use it again. But in terms of how I keep going, I just hope and imagine that one day the ableism will be affecting you. And how are you going to feel when somebody says to Mike or Kyle, like, hey, so you're in a wheelchair, I can't fuck you because you're disabled, too bad. Like, that's going to hurt. And so don't you want to not do that to somebody right now? Because that's what you're doing.
Yeah, you I think in your social media talk a lot about how a lot of us are going to be disabled at some point in our lives, and if you're not now, you might be part of this population in the future.
Like, I know from talking with you, Kyle, a couple years ago on my show, you have disabilities, and so like,
yeah,
you are already in my mind part of the family. Hello, welcome. And so like, we are all going to be disabled one day if we're lucky. And if you're not, regardless of that, disability could touch your life, because you could go to a club and meet the hottest disabled guy who uses a chair, but also might have an invisible disability, but also might have disabilities you can't see. And then disability and access touches your life too. And so this idea that when people say, oh, well, disability is never going to touch me, well, fuck off. Yes, it is. Whether that's happening to you personally or someone you care about, it is too. And so why are we so afraid to address disability? And I think part of that is it's asking you to look at your mortality, and that's scary, because typically disabled people like me don't live till 85. We live to like maybe, 60, 62 if we're lucky. I'm just guessing there. I don't know I have no idea, like, the exact age range, but typically
it's okay.
we
make up data all the time. Go for it.
Okay, good. So like, so I think that it's scary to people to consider, oh no, I might encounter disability, therefore I'm gonna have to face my mortality. That's scary. And I think, like, if we recognize that we're all going to be disabled, that doesn't mean we're all going to be disabled in the same way. Some of us will have neurodivergence. Some of us will need mobility aids. Some of us will have, mental health stuff. It's going to be totally different, but it's a part of our experience that we should be talking about, especially when it comes to a community that so loudly preaches love is love, but quietly agrees we don't belong to be here.
On our show, in your book, on other places, other venues, you talk about queer spaces pretty regularly, and how, like, it's not just about the physical space, which is also important, like good ramps and all of that, but the queer spaces have a problem with, like, emotional accessibility. Can you talk more about that, and like maybe what we can do as people? How can we confront our own ableism when it comes to, like, queer spaces?
I mean, the worst thing about me, the worst thing for me when I go into queer spaces, the worst thing about me is how cool I am now. The worst thing about queer spaces is that the emotional inaccessibilities. When I go into a queer space, particularly a queer male-dominated space, like, it's so cliquey and it's so high school and it's so like meat market. And then, they're all looking at you and they're deciding, right? And I'm sure you both have experienced this when you've gone into a gay bar, how, like, it's very, 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 like, sexual right away. And if they don't want to be with you intimately, you are not even considered. And so when I roll up, like, so many times I've rolled up to a group of guys and wanted to say, like, hey, how are you? Let's dance or whatever. And they'll give me, like, the, oh, so nice to see you here. Like, oh. Or they'll give me, like, the like, hi, I'm just gonna walk over here. Like, hey. And so, like, I immediately get iced out. And so it's really emotionally, like, jarring to be in this space where no one's paying attention to you because they're either afraid or they're ableist or both. And so I think we need, like, queer male, like, I want to be able to go into a big queer club and say, like, okay, let's talk about ableism. Let's talk about the ways you've done ableism, whether you meant to or not, without shaming you, without making you feel bad, without hurting your feelings. Like, let's talk about it. Let's talk about what parts of disability and sexuality are scary to you right now. Let's actually talk about it and give them a space to, like, say, well, Andrew's disability scares me because I'm not sure if I'm going to hurt him in bed. Or Andrew's disability scares me because, like, I'm not sure I'll enjoy myself. Or Andrew's disability scares me because he might die before I do. And what if we get in a long-term relationship and then he dies? Like, whatever the fear is, getting them to talk about it and giving them an open space to be like, disability scares me because, I might have to help somebody. And I find when I sleep with guys, they're afraid of helping. They're scared to help because they don't want to do the wrong thing. They don't want to hurt somebody. And then they've also been taught that able-bodied sex, especially gay male sex, is easy. It's quick. It's often anonymous. I don't have to put so much work in. I can, like, fuck a dude and then go home and it's fine. Like, whereas when you spend time with me or somebody with my experience of disability, you have to put a bit more care in. And I think that scares people, especially guys, away because, caring can mean, oh no, I have to show emotional depth towards the person. What? I can't do that. So I think, like, we need spaces where we can talk about all this stuff, but doing it in a space where gay men already are. So I don't want to take you out of your club. I want to come into your club and say, hey, let's talk about disability today. Mm-hmm. And then let's have a dance party about it.
You've talked about your experience on apps. Are you on Sniffies? Is Sniffies in Canada?
It is. I feel like I'm just too old for Sniffies. I tried it for an hour and I was like, what is this? I can't do it. It's too weird. Like, I'm gonna stick to the like tried and tested Grindr, and the Grindr and the Scruff, I think, are my go-tos. And I've never had a successful sexual experience from either of those apps either, but like I at least know how to use them. And Sniffies was like, what is this?
You talk about like needing a little bit more time and emotional like care. Sniffies is probably not the place to find that.
Yeah. Like, I want to suck your dick at 2 in the morning, and that's totally fine, and that's possible. But I also want to, like, can you be a human about it? Like, you might have to get me in out of bed. You might have to undress me. You might have to, like, reposition me. You might have to make sure that I'm okay. And, like, that's what I meant when I said earlier that gay men are selfish. They don't seem to think about there's another person here that I'm with when they're having sex. Yeah. It feels very selfish, and, like, once you come, we're somehow done. And that's not because I need so much care, that's never been my vibe. And so, like, that experience I talk about in the book where the guy made me come really fast, and then I said, like, when are we going on our date? And he was like, oh no, there's no date, I just came by because you were a pity fuck. Like, what I'm really saying is, like, would you want to stay enough to care about me to, like, know who I am? And there's another experience in the book where I talk about a guy who came over for the night who had, like, an 8-pack, and then at the end of the sex, he showered me, and we did all this, like, really intimate care together, and then he disappeared and left, and I never saw him again. Like, that was equally hard because I'm being vulnerable with you. I'm showing you parts of myself that I would never show anyone else unless I trusted you, and you're saying things like, oh yeah, of course I'll come back, of course, no, and then you like, disappear. And so I think there's just a selfishness of, like, that gay men really have to get over and really remember that we're all the community here and all of us deserve a space. And yeah, some guys you fuck at 2 a.m. might need a bit more care than the average dude, and that's all right.
I wanted to ask you, this is the nerdiest shit. I can't fucking believe I'm taking this.
I'm ready.
Detour.
I love nerdy shit.
I'm in software professionally. That's my day job. And we have to work really hard sometimes on accessibility for
I bet you work really hard. Sorry.
on the software that we make. Like, app developers have to realize, like, people with disabilities might be using their technology. I'm wondering, how do the sex apps, are they accessible? Are they
not always? Like, a lot of them they don't. I like Grindr has voice apping now. Of course, Grindr, to use it in full, you have to spend like $500 a month to fucking use that app now. Like, I wish that Scruff would have a voice function. That makes it a lot easier. A lot of people with low vision say it's really hard to use. People who have tactile issues say it's really tough to use. So no, I don't think they're doing enough. I would love for hey, Scruff or Sniffies or Grinder, maybe not Grinder. Grinder's kind of the worst. But if you want to, if you want to hire me, like, or one of us to help you make the app more accessible, like, we're right here. And I'm sure somebody with a varying disabilities to me would say it needs to be accessible this way. It needs to be accessible this way. Like, they're not really accessible because they're not made for everyone. They're made for white, able-bodied gay men to fuck on, unfortunately. And so when you take out everything else, like, you're not thinking about access for everyone. You're thinking about making money. And unfortunately, gay white men, like, not that I want to call out Gus Camworthy, but I'm going to call him out, like, Gus Camworthy are your prime market. And so, like, I don't understand. I understand why they won't, because they're not looking to be inclusive. They're looking to make money.
Yep. Yep. You talked about the challenges of accessible queer spaces. Is there anybody who's doing it really well? Have you ever been to a queer space that you were like, yeah, this place is rocking the accessibility factor?
There was a queer space in Vancouver that I went to a couple years ago called the Pump Jack.
Yeah.
The
shower show at Pump Jack is fantastic.
Yeah, that's right. The shower show. And so I remember that they have, you can wheel your chair right in the front. There's no step. It's easy to get into. And I remember being very excited by that, because I was like, typically when I go to a gay bar here in Toronto, I have to go through the back or through like a side door or not at all. And so, like, to know that the Pump Jack in Vancouver has like front door entry was really, really cool.
Excellent. I think I've given them a local gay bar review before. I forget what
I remember seeing that, I think, somewhere on one of your social media. I remember seeing me like, yeah, they're great. They're pretty good.
Do you remember what you gave them, Mike?
I think 4 dildos. I'll have to
okay, that's pretty good for a
it's a scale of 1 to 5 dildos, Andrew. So, like, you know,
I mean,
4 dildos is good.
Who doesn't love 4 dildos?
I wanted to ask, you've critiqued people for the way they make fun of Donald Trump.
Yeah.
Talk to me about Donald Trump and what people get wrong when they make fun of him.
Well, listen, let me be clear. I do not support Donald Trump in any way.
That's great. If you did, we probably wouldn't have you on the show. So
let me be 100% fucking crystal clear. I do not support him in any way. However, I think that saying things like he's diaper Don, or making fun of his body, or making fun of his, what does he have now? Some Venus condition that's going to like maybe kill him. People were making fun of that and saying, like, let's hope he dies really soon. Like, listen, he's given us so much stuff we can critique him on. His body and his ability level does not need to be one of the things. And I think it's really low-hanging fruit to attack someone's body, regardless of who they are. And, like, just because you don't like somebody, it doesn't mean you have to resort to ableism right away. I made a tweet the other day that was like, I don't like this person, so I'll resort to ableism pipeline is way too quick. Because it is. Like, we go to, like, well, they're fat, they're ugly, they're in a wheelchair. Like, oh, so you're just picking things they can't control because that's easier for you? And so, like, I see a lot of Democratic people online who are, like, who are very leftist and love the world, quickly skewering him for his body. And that's where I'm like, okay, but, like, he won't see that, but your friend who has trouble walking might see that, or your friend who has, who uses a wheelchair might see that, or your friend who they call him Diaper Don all the time. So I always critique, like, your friend with disabilities who might need a diaper to make themselves feel confident in the day so they don't have an accident is going to see your tweet and know how you really feel about somebody who needs support. And so I think it's really easy to shoot him down, and we should be shooting him down for a lot of his shit. I want him gone. He's horrible. But that doesn't mean we should be resorting to body shaming or, like, ableism that way, because aren't we better than that? Aren't we the left? Aren't we supposed to be, like, slightly more enlightened than making fun of someone's body and something that they can't control? Like, he can't control that he has Venus whatever. I'm not going to make fun of him for that, but I am going to call you out if you try to say you hope because he has a disability that it'll take him out faster. That's pretty horrible.
Well, okay, so I'm not disagreeing at all. This is literally or legit. I'm trying to be devil's advocate. He's the poster child of ableist vitriol. What about the desire to fight fire with fire? Sometimes, like, have a dose of your own medicine, man.
But like, again, he's not going to see it. He could give a shit. He's too busy phoning up Fox News and saying, "Oh, did you hear that? Did you hear about that thing that I just did?" Like, blow me, Fox News host. He's too busy doing that. He doesn't care what you post. But somebody with a disability, or who knows somebody with a disability, will see that and know how you like. It's too easy, and I think we can critique his policy. We can critique, like, the fact that he hired RFK to run the health system. Like, we can critique so many things about him, but basing our critique on his body is just, I think it's a slippery slope.
Yeah. Yeah.
If he was going to tweet back at me after I said, "You're an ableist cock, like, fuck off," sure, okay, fight fire with fire, let's go. But we all know he's not going to look at that. So it's only really hurting the people with disabilities or, who have needs that are greater than we might realize, who are going to see that are going to be hurt. Yeah. And I think we have to separate bodies from the people in the bodies sometimes.
Yeah,
that's
I like
a good way to look at it.
Yeah.
I want to know a little bit more about your story on when you take airplanes. I've been seeing some of your Instagram posts about accessibility on airplanes.
Oh man, airplanes are a fucking trip. I went to the east coast of Canada a few weeks ago to film a documentary piece with a friend of mine, and I let them know that before I flew, the size of my chair, I let them know I did all the stuff. I went to the doctor, filled out all this medical stuff, and I put big signs on the chair the day of my flight. Please do not drag. Please do not pull. Please do not twist my wheelchair because it's worth $30,000, and if you break it, I will sue. I have that on my chair whenever I fly, and I don't sue, but I make sure that they know that I'll create shit. So the flight over was fine. Everything was fine on the way over. On the way back, they busted my chair to the point now where it's been 3 weeks since I flew, and I still can't drive properly.
Wow.
And so I emailed them this and said, "You busted my chair. What do I do?" And I fly regularly, so I know that they bust, on average, in the U.S. and Canada, 29 chairs a day are busted by an airline.
Wow.
And there's no law, there's no overarching law to fix it yet. People are working on it, and groups are lobbying for it, but it's taking for fucking ever because nobody cares about us, frankly. So they busted my chair on the way back, and I filled out all the forms, and I said, I won't need to get it fixed right away. And then they said, okay, great. So they came back with, we're going to give you a voucher with our airline for $1,000 to fly with us again. And I was like, well, why do I want a voucher to fly with you again if you're just going to break my chair again? Like, that doesn't do anything for me. I want real money. Can you please give me $1,000 so I can live? That would be much more helpful than a voucher to fly with you again. And they said, oh no, we can't. It's our policy, blah, blah. So I looked up the revenue of the airline, Air Canada. I looked at the revenue. They made $22 billion in revenue last year. So I just did a little tweet that was like, you busted my chair and I can't use my chair. And all I was asking for was $1,000 in restitution. And a $22 billion company can't find $1,000? Funny. And so I just put that on social media. And I let them know that I tweeted that on social media. And all of a sudden, there's my money.
Wow.
And so, like, it's stressful as fuck to have to do that. I know there was a disabled woman, I think, a couple years ago who died because they busted her chair and they gave her a replacement chair. They gave her a bed sore and she couldn't heal and she died. So,
wow.
People saying, oh, it's just a chair, don't worry about it. It actually has real world consequences for people when they damage it. It's like if you broke your leg on Delta Airlines and then they were like, Oh, do you have fun? Was your flight good? Oh, yeah, your leg's broken? Don't worry about that. It's all right. Here's a voucher. What? No.
some coupons for free cocktails. There you go.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh
Like,
God.
so, I mean, it's really a shame that in 2025, almost 26, disabled people are still not allowed to fly. And there was one airline, I won't name them because I'm going to be nice. There's one airline in Canada. Okay, fuck, I'll just name it. WestJet is the airline. And I was going to fly with them before I took Air Canada. And they said, your wheelchair is too big. We can't accommodate your chair. And I was like, cool. And they said, we have a weight limit of 300 pounds or more. And I was like, every power chair weighs at least 400 pounds. So you're excluding a whole population of people who might have money to pay you to go on a flight and would happily give you their money. You're telling them that they can't fly with you. How is that inclusive? Like, so I constantly fight with them for, money, for vouchers, for like just talking about how inhumane it was. One time they broke my shower chair so badly I couldn't shower for a week and a half when I was on vacation.
Wow.
And so like it has real world consequences to people living with mobility aids. Like when you go on a plane, you never think about that your legs are going to be broken when you leave the flight. I do every single bloody time, and it's really a shame.
Wow. Yeah, that's a lot to add to it. Traveling is stressful already, much less like adding all of that as a burden to it.
Yeah.
This is also why things like transportation need to be at least partially public, right? That if you leave everything to private corporations, then they're just going to make money. Like their interest is making money, not being a public conveyance, right?
Like which is ironic when they say things like, "Oh, we can't take your chair." It's like I was going to give you $800 to fly with you, and now you're telling me that I can't because you won't make accommodations for me. What? Like I was going to give you $1,000 to fly, probably more. Why are you denying that? That's not how you make money as a business. What?
Yeah.
So I wanted to check in with you on, we've talked about like disability and the way that it's represented in media. And because it's been a while since we talked, how are things trending? Are things getting better? Are they about the same? Are they getting worse? Because it feels like with the administration that we have in the United States, things are horrible, but
I see a lot of disabled people trying to make cool stuff. And I know there are disabled people making films, and I know there are disabled people doing stuff. But again, they're not being distributed. They're not being leveraged. They're not like, for a really cool disabled film to make money. Unfortunately, we need a cool non-disabled actor to give us a couple million to make it go. Like it shouldn't be that way. And like there are a few disabled actors out there doing great work. I think of Ryan O'Connell, my friend in Special and the Queer as Folk thing. I think of people like Ali Stroker, who was in a whole bunch of stuff and on Broadway and had a cameo in Only Murders on the Building. Like there are people doing great stuff, but again, they need such a big backing to get seen that like I'm here for like the indie people that are doing like podcasts like I do and stuff that I do, where not a lot of people not a huge swath of people are going to listen to it, but it's going to make a change. I think those big things are important, but just as equally important, I think, are the little folks that are doing a podcast or a zine or social media to show like disabled people are here and here's what we're doing.
What message would you want, especially the gay community, to know if you could get everyone's ear for 5 minutes?
I want you to know that you're ableist. No. I want you to know that you want to, but truthfully, you have been ableist. You can do better. You will experience some form of disability in your life, whether that be in your own body or with somebody you know. And think about all the ways that your quote unquote preferences have excluded great people in your life. And think about when it's your turn to be disabled and you want to go to the big club and you are 65, 70 and you need a cane or you need a wheelchair, and all the young, cool, hip gay kids of that time don't look at you because you're different all of a sudden. How are you going to feel when it's your turn? And I just want to remind them that all of us in the queer space deserve our sexuality, deserve sensuality, deserve a chance to be loved and to be cared for and to have a fling and to fuck and all the things that every other queer person gets to do, but we often don't get to experience because of emotional ableism and then physical ableism.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. That's great. That was so good. I think we should take a break. I don't know. What do you think, Kyle?
Yeah, I think so. When we get back, we'll do our Gayest and Straightest and talk with Andrew a little bit more.
Yeah. So
cool.
Should we take a break?
Yeah, let's take a break.
Let's take a break.
Break.
This is the part where Mike and Kyle take a break.
So are we back?
We're back.
We're back.
We're going to do our Gayest and Straightest.
We're going to do our Gayest and Straightest. But first, Andrew Gurza, you're fantastic. Tell us what you're up to, where people can find you online, where people can buy your book. Tell us all the things.
Thank you. They can buy my book, Notes from a Queer Cripple, How to Cultivate Queer Disabled Joy and Be Hot While Doing It, wherever they get books, in digital and paperback copy. Please buy it because it's really great and really important, and also hire me to speak about it. You can find my work at andrewgurza.com. You can follow me on Instagram and Blue Sky at Andrew Gurza. You can listen to my award-winning podcast, Disability After Dark, wherever you get podcasts every other Sunday. And yeah.
Awesome.
Yes, everybody, do all of those things.
Do all of that. Yes, for sure.
Our website is gayishpodcast.com.
We are on social media at Gayish Podcast.
Our hotline, you can send us text messages or leave us voicemails, is 5855-GAYISH. That's 585-542-9474. Standard rates apply.
Our email is gayishpodcast@gmail.com. And remember to send us questions for our 450th at gayishpodcast +450 @gmail.com.
And our physical mailing address is Post Office Box 19882, Seattle, Washington, 98109. Okay, so let's see. I don't know. This is where we say things, right?
Yeah.
Like come on our face. Come on our cruise.
Come on our, little column A, little column B.
You could do both. I'm okay with you there.
You could do a little of both. Our Patreon happy hour is going to be combined with our live stream for our 450th. That is on Tuesday, August 5th at 6 p.m. Pacific, 9 p.m. Eastern. Send in your questions, and if you're a Patreon, join the live stream then.
Yeah, look for the link on Patreon. And whatever you want, no holds barred. Ask your questions. We will try to answer them. Yeah. Okay. Should we do our Gayest and Straightest?
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay. I will go first.
Okay.
So the gayest thing about me this week is dudes in Vancouver are hot. Like there was a lot of good eye candy in Vancouver.
Right. Yeah, I have to agree with you there. They really are.
Yeah. Like
wow.
Like, wow, just
something in the fucking water over there. I don't know what it is. Like, what?
British Columbian water, man. It just,
like whatever it is, I want some.
But also, there was this dude at work who told me that he just got married and he kept saying partner and spouse over and over again. And it was like pulling teeth. I was just tell me if you're gay.
Yeah, I need to know.
And then the straightest thing about me this week is just working out of the Vancouver office last week for work, and just the number of conversations I had to have about hockey. Canadians and hockey, it's unavoidable when I'm in that office, and it made me straighter inside.
Well, we like to puck with our big sticks, so.
How about you, Kyle?
My straightest is I've been watching a lot of porn with women in it.
Oh.
My gayest is because the reason I'm doing that is because I'm following this forum, like this thread on this forum that's homoerotic scenes in straight porn.
Oh.
So it's homoerotic moments where like there are two dudes and one girl, and they give you like the porn and the little timestamp, and you can like go watch some straight dudes doing some homoerotic shit.
Have you ever watched, what's his name? He's a bi porn star, really famous. Wolf Hudson?
I don't know. No, I don't know him.
Should look him up. He's very attractive.
Okay, to do right after this. What about you, Andrew?
The straightest thing I did this week was care about Coldplay because, I don't really give a shit about Coldplay, but apparently watching somebody have their affair outed was really, really cool. It's very, very straight.
Yeah,
I mean, that's bro
for sure.
rock for sure. Like,
It really is. And the gayest thing about me this week is, as per every week, I looked at a lot of dick on an escort website, and I
Nice.
one dick that was so big, I was like, wow, how are you standing up?
a tripod, like on all three legs.
Thank you so much, Andrew. Thanks for being on. We really appreciate it.
Thanks for having me, guys. It was such a pleasure to be here again.
Yeah.
Yeah. Buy his book, everybody.
Yeah.
Yeah, please.
And then I want to thank our super gap producers. Thank you to Locomotive, Simon Strachey, Kaylee Adams, Kit Oliver, Kobe Gordon, Squoggle, Pip, Andrew Bugby, William Bryant, John Crowley, Stephen Porch, Yost Ossel, Jonathan Montañez, Forrest Snail, Steve Douglas, Explosive Lasagna, Michael Cummington, Thomas B., Dusty Sands, A. Coleman, Chris Cacciatorians, Jerome York, and CNN Javi. Thank you for your support.
Thank you for your money. That's it. This has been Gayish from the Chris Cacciatorian Studios. I'm Mike Johnson.
I'm Kyle Getz. Until next week, be butch, be fabulous, be you. See ya.
Next week.